Babe, can we film your gear video today?
What day is it today, honey?
It's New Year's.
What are we doing?
We're filming your gear video.
Fucking pain in my ass.
It's Luke's day off. I've suckered him into doing the gear video for you guys because I know a lot of you are asking. So we are going to talk about all his gear that he brought when he came to visit me on the AT. He did sections 2 weeks at a time and did about 1,000 miles in total this year. So let's talk about his gear.
Thank you, honey. That was a beautiful introduction. Alright, so the big, what is it, the big three?
Mm-hmm.
So the big three, first we're going to start with the Hyperlight pack. It's Hyperlight. This was the, I think the 4400 Wind Rider, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wind Rider. It has the mesh pockets compared to the
Southwest.
Yeah, compared to the Southwest. But I enjoyed the pack. It's a bigger pack than most people are hiking with on the AT. Most people are going with the 3400. That's what Liz was rocking.
So this is 60 liters?
Yeah, it's about 60 liters.
Or 65?
65 liter pack, something like that. And I got it bigger just because I knew I was going to be doing hiking out in the whites and we need snowshoes and crap and cramps and stuff like that. So I went bigger than the average AT person, and you know, it was a little bulky in the beginning. If I was packing bigger, this would have been perfect. I mean, it worked out perfect, but in a sense of, you know, having a pack for what you need for the AT, that's all you need is a pack that's a little smaller than this. This was a little bit of an overkill, but that was my part. The pack did its job. It's just, you know, the pack for what you're doing is important, and I got it bigger on purpose so I could pack it bigger in the long run. So overall, kick-ass bag. I love it, and it smells pretty bad still. So did a great job. And the mesh pockets are, you know, they're the best, especially drying out your tent and all your clothes and stuff. You can't beat it. Moving on to my sleeping bag. This is an r.e.i. I forget the model. I want to say it's a Magma or something like that. I know it's rated for 10 degrees. I bought it initially for the White Mountains. When I met her in Fontana, I ended up buying a liner as well because it was a little chilly. I got that at one of the outposts or whatever it was. So this was, I think this will give it an extra 10 degrees or something like that on the temperature scale. But overall, love the bag. It was reasonably priced, lightweight. I think it weighs a little over 2 pounds. I think it's 2 pounds 9 ounces or something like that. Dude, it's real lightweight. 7 pounds 25 ounces. Then we got the Neo Air
X-Lite.
X-Lite, yeah. And then it's the adult size, not like Liz. She has the baby size. So this was a great, you know, great sleeping pad. I mean, it was loud when you slept on it, but it was comfortable. It did its job. It's lightweight. You can't really beat it. It smells too still. Probably should wash it. And then we got the Copper Spur Big Agnes. That is the 10, right? Copper Spur, right? Why am I drawing a blank on it?
Yep, your 10 Copper Spur.
Yeah. So this was a great tent overall. I mean, for the money I spent on it, I think it was like 400, which is, I thought was very reasonable. It might have been a little bit more. Pretty lightweight. You know, you have the poles as well, so you do have this to carry with the tent. It's not, you know, just off of trekking poles or anything like that. Originally, when I bought the tent, I didn't have a ground cloth. The ground cloth that I used was from a Nemo tent, but I used it was the wrong size, so I ended up just buying the ground cloth. It made it a lot easier with the poles and everything like that. Great tent overall. Only thing I had problems with was the zippers. They were just like, if you were going quick, you'd always jam them, but it's probably my fault without, you know, being impatient and just wanting to zip the tent up. So, but overall, good tent, lightweight. I'd use it again. Okay, we'll start with shoes. I originally started with some Solomons with the first time I went out to meet her for that first trip, which I think we did about 102 miles, I want to say. And my feet were pretty good. Second time I went out, we did a little bit more, and the shoes just didn't work for me. I don't know if my foot just kind of swelled up or it wasn't used to the impact on the big miles and stuff like that. But the Solomons, great shoe. Everybody loves them, and I love them. I just think I sized it too wrong. So when I switched shoes, I ended up going with the Ultras, and I started with the Timps, the Ultra Timps, which they gave me a free pair and twice, which was pretty good. get destroyed quick. I did switch to the new Lone Peaks when they came out. I don't exactly know on which model. I want to say it's the 3.5. I could be wrong. It could be the 4. I have no idea. But it's, you know, Ultra's a pretty damn good shoe. I mean, these lasted pretty good. These didn't get as beat up as the Timps. But I do like Ultra as a comfort-wise shoe. My camp shoe, I rock the Crocs, which, you know, it's kind of a lifestyle to have Crocs on because it's not, you know, your everyday life kind of thing to wear Crocs unless you're a freak. I do suggest them as a camp shoe because it has the back so you don't have to worry about them slipping off in the water. For clothes, I had very basic, I think, clothes stuff. I had run-of-the-mill, like just one base layer, no top. The top base layer I did have was a Smartwool top that I got a while back just for hiking up here. I know Smartwool's expensive, but it's to me the way to go with base clothes. I really like their lines for base stuff. For shorts, I actually found these. I think they're called Rhone, R.e.i. I found them at r.e.i. Comfortable. I got another gray one. They're kind of like booty shorts, a little shorter, a little weird. I'm not really used to it, but these are a little longer. I do like these. Socks, Darn Tough, all the way, 100%. Smartwool's good too as well. I kind of made a switch to Darn Toughs once I found out they were a lifetime warranty. So I threw all my socks out before this trip and bought all Darn Tough socks. So it's kind of my go-to. So I always will have new socks if they rip or anything. My rain jacket, I did have rain pants. It came in handy a little bit. I think towards the end of the trail, we almost used them as like my camp pants. Like I almost used them at the end of the day, like to get out of shit, you know, get out of nasty clothes, throw on some rain pants that were clean and be all set. I do have a Marmot rain jacket, which is the one thing that I want to kind of say with rain gear, is I think the name brand and expensive rain jacket is a bunch of fucking bullshit. And you don't need to pay fucking $400 for a fucking Marmot jacket. We ended up using ponchos, which were easier, more comfort. I mean, this jacket, within 2 hours, is soaked through if I'm in torrential downpour. I mean, I'm wet all inside and everything like that. So, in my opinion, you know, spend your $100 or whatever, but don't go crazy and spend a bunch of money on a rain jacket. I did go for a puffy. Mountain Hardware is what I got for my puffy. I didn't get a hood. I didn't need a hood. I run hot. I'm always kind of hot, so I wasn't too worried about being, you know, with a hood on it. But the hood is a nice option, I guess, in a way, especially if you're up north. But I was very impressed with this jacket. I paid good money for it. It was worth it, 100%, and compressed real good. It's real light, so I definitely like this jacket. So overall, out of all my gear and all my shoes and everything like that, I think my puffy would be my favorite on clothes-wise.
What about your underwear?
Oh, my underfit, I wore ex officio, I think that's how you say it. I'd go with the black ex officio. The gray ones that are like fitted, I'm not a fan of. It's too much, you know, so, but black ones are good. Get a couple days out of them. Going live. She's gonna tell me to sit down. So we're going over food and water. Water, easy, Sawyer. Don't let it freeze, or it won't work. Sort of squeeze the big one. It's way to go, you know, because at least you can drink out of it too with the big bag on it. There's more water in it, you know. I like that Sawyer squeeze. I even went with the smart water bottles, kind of everybody does. It's just, you know, fits right on the Sawyer if I need it. We're going with, what was the other one that we went with for a little bit? It was like some Asian brand. Evernew, yeah. So the Evernew bags is what we had. I broke like, I think 3 of them. I mean, they worked when they worked, but the minute you, like the seam, like right on the edge of it right here would always pop. I mean, we popped 2 in one day before, and I know Liz is pretty buff, but I mean, it shouldn't break off of that. We ended up switching to the C-Knock because you can stand on them with water, which is pretty fucking impressive. So, moving on with the food, I originally had a Jetboil stove, which I had just for camping up here. I did like it. I do like it. It's definitely a little heavier than what you need, and I didn't like the coating around it. They had like it's like a koozie, yeah, like the material out of a wetsuit is around the cup. So I mean, if you don't have the gas or anything like that, in order to put it on the fire, you really can't. You're limited. You know, I don't think the Jetboil is really that good for versatility. So I did switch over to the MSI. It's actually a tea kettle. I drink man cups of coffee. I don't do one packet of Starbucks, so you need a lot of fluid when you do multiple packets. This is the MSI. It's a tea kettle, but it's lightweight, super light. I love it. And I did do the pocket, I don't know, I forget the name. It might be the pocket rocket, I have no idea. It's the pocket something scale, not scale, stove, MSI. Way easier than the jet boil. I liked having this just because I could put on the fire. If I was, if I was out of gas and we were having a fire, put it on the fire, no big deal. I definitely cut some weight from having my jet boil. Not a ton, but a little bit. Then switching to food bags, I had multiple dry sacks that were food bags. I didn't really care. I ended up getting a Z-Pack food bag, which took me like 4 weeks to get in the mail. Actually, maybe 5 weeks to get in the mail. A food bag, let me repeat that, 5 weeks to get in the mail. I do like the bag, it's beautiful. I did use multiple other dry bags. You don't need a fancy bag for a food bag. You can get any dry sack and put a carabiner on and hang it in the woods. It doesn't matter. The bear bag this was actually Liz's old one. She got another one from, I think, where'd you buy it?
Z-Pack.
Yeah, Z-Pack. So she had this from the house. I said, screw it, I spend the money, I'll just take it. Bear bag, hangs, don't be a wuss, hang it right. When you get to camp, you find the biggest tree you can, and you shoot for the moon. You don't weak bareback hang. But that is basically overall my cooking stuff. I do have a spork, my titanium spork. You can use your fucking hands. It's the Appalachian Trail. It doesn't matter. You can use a piece of wood. It's all in what you want to make it. So coming into electronics, this is my headlamp. I did have a shittier one that was junk. This is just a black diamond headlamp. I think it was reasonably priced. It wasn't bad. Been happy with it. Did its job. Some people have the ones that are pretty sweet though, that are like, it's like a truck light. Almost, it's really bright, but you're gonna spend the money on something that you can get away pretty cheap on, and black diamond's the way to go. Go for it. I was pretty basic bitch when it comes to electrical for the AT. I had one anchor with me for the 2 weeks that I was out. I had one plug and then 2 cords, one to charge my anchor, one to charge my phone. That is basically all of my electrical. I had my headlamp, charger pack, one plug. That was it. That's all I needed. Half the time I barely use my anchor. I know compared to a lot of people out there, like Liz, she was filming, so she's got a lot more stuff, and everybody that was on YouTube had a lot more filming stuff. But this guy was basic electronics man in the woods for the AT. We're kind of going over just, I consider this knickknacks of hiking. What should I consider this as? This is considered
Toiletries, first aid, and extra stuff.
Thank you. Alright. So I did go with the hemp Bronners soap solely because that's what Liz liked, and when I was out every 2 weeks, if I was going home for the 2, I'd give her the rest of my soap bottle if she was left. So I didn't really care about soap. It doesn't matter to me. You can use any soap, bring a bar of soap, put it in a Ziploc bag. It doesn't fucking matter.
No.
Huh?
Dr. Bronner's is all natural.
Okay, Dr. Bronner's is a natural soap. So you want natural soap for the fucking woods. Fucking just whatever soap you want. Also, antibacterial. The Purell, just so when you poop in the woods and you don't have, a sink, you can wash your hands still. The TP. So you definitely need to locate a decent ply wherever you are. You do not want a single ply in the woods. You want at least 2 ply, maybe 3. I think that's basically, I didn't bring deodorant. I didn't care about that. Well, actually, what about toothpaste and stuff? I don't even know where that's in.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. I did have a fold-up toothbrush, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to fold up toothbrush. It doesn't matter at all. What I did bring, A&D for your butt. Seriously, if you get chafe, A&D's the way to fucking go. Like this, Evan actually saved my ass, literally, because of A&D. Because we had a day where it was awful for me. If he didn't have that, I would have been not in a good place. So, thank you, Evan, again. I normally bring, this is kind of my first aid slash, I guess, I did bring a razor too as well. This is a safety razor. You can get them, they're throwaway. You just put a flat razor in. Nice and easy, huh?
Real quick, someone wants to know about how you kept your head shaved all the time.
My head shaved. I don't have the buzzers anymore. I had buzzers that were like full-size buzzers, and they were definitely not for hiking. They were heavy. It was big. They were like this, and I would just hit it when I was in town every couple days. Now I switched over to picking my head now that we're home, which I wish I did when I was out there because it would have been nice just to have to carry this and a couple extra blades. So just shave it. Just commit. So I'm kind of going all into soap and first aid here.
That's fine.
So now I'll roll you guys into my first aid here. This is tendon tape or whatever. You know, I always would cut up little strips and everything like that. I had an issue with the front of my ankle on one of the trips that I was out, and I just didn't have any wrap or anything like that. So I always made sure to bring this after that. I also have a wrap, which is huge. If you screw up an ankle or a knee, you need that wrap. That's big time. If you got 15 miles to do, and your foot's hurting or your ankle's hurting, you need to get through the day. I mean, it makes the biggest difference. When my tendon was in the front of my leg, another thing Evan let me borrow was this, and it came in big time. We pulled a 19-mile day that day, and my leg was pretty swollen, and that definitely helped me out. So I'd suggest always having one of those. This is my pill cocktail. Nothing fancy about it. Ziploc, we got Zyrtec, Motrin, Aleve, Band-Aids. I actually got Alka-Seltzer too. I don't remember why I bought Alka-Seltzer, but just, upset stomach kind of thing, diarrhea. Actually, I do have an anti-diarrhea here in here as well. I got a variety of Band-Aids, Neosporin. I always keep. You don't need to keep this much if you're really, all crazy about your weight on your back. You don't need it, but I'd suggest just hike with it. I also would bring a lighter, and this is kind of like my knickknacks, just in gear-wise. So I bring waterproof mattress. These are savage. I mean, you're probably gonna have nobody tell you to bring these on the AT, but it was a lot easier to start fires, and I enjoyed using these. Elastic bands. I know it's stupid, but it comes in handy. I'd have an extra carabiner. I did have a compass as well. I never used it, but yeah, everybody tells you to bring a compass, so I brought one. I'd keep a rag, just an extra rag. I tried to have like 2 or 3, and I'd use my banana. I use my bandana as well. Overall, I think, a couple extra carabiners. I obviously had some rope, some tie rope. I got this from Hyperlite, which Hyperlite sells the best, whatever it's fucking called, yeah, paracord. So I'd have a couple of those. One of my favorite things to do a clothesline at the end of the day. I looked forward to it every day that I hiked. And I also had little tiny strands too as well, just for odds and ends. But bandana, I'm bald, so being bald, you sweat and it goes right in your mouth and your eyes. So it's disgusting. So I'd suggest bandana over your head, kind of soak up the sweat, let it dry out when you take a break. Other thing, knife, Benchmade. I love this knife. This is the knife that I did bring out. I don't think it's needed. I mean, Benchmade's a real good brand. You're gonna pay the money for it. It's S30V steel, which is like one of the hardest steels out there right now, or so I'm told. It keeps a real good edge on it. It's good steel, and Benchmade has a really good offer for sending out to get sharpened and everything like that. If you want a knife that you're gonna have for 10 years, go with a Benchmade. Black Diamond hiking poles. I did have r.e.i. I broke about three sets coming out to visit Liz. And then we got in an argument about which poles to buy. So she was all about the Black Diamond, so fuck it, I went and bought Black Diamond poles. So I've been happy with these. They're pretty good. They have these shock absorbers in it, which is pretty neat. I never really seen that on a trekking pole, but for the end of it, it did its job. I always put duct tape on them. I love duct tape. It's good. Am I good? Peace. You too.
Ew.
It's a different finger.
Alright, thank you guys for joining us. Happy New Year. Hope you learned something.
Sorry if I wasn't too detailed with my stuff. I'm not.
It's okay. I'll put the captions on it.
Yeah, you caption it. But it's all about having fun. You can use cheap gear, expensive gear, it doesn't matter. Go out and have fun. Don't worry too much about weight. Eventually you won't give a shit. So, do your thing.
Alright. We will see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.